Hello, listeners, and welcome to the Downright Upright Show, the place to go to hear out loud and proud what Minnesotans are thinking. And I am your host, Philip Anthony. Thank you all so much for joining me today. And I hope everyone out there is doing fantabulous, and fantabulous is fantastic and fabulous. Put together twice as nice, and it saves time. You like that?
I do, very much.
Are you guys feeling fantabulous?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. Well, today we have, remember that old commercial, two mints in one? Remember that? I forgot what was it, Dentine or something? Well, today I have two guests, so I'm going to have to introduce them both separately. There are two guests. One is Ga, wave Ga, and Courtney Ries. And Va is her last name, right? Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, but we're going to call you Ga. Right?
Please, yes.
Yeah. And Ga is the first vice president of equality, equity, inclusion, diversity, and access for Meet Minneapolis. And Convention and Visitors Association. Is that the whole name of the organization?
So it's a mouthful.
It's a long
mouthful.
I'll refer to it as Meet Minneapolis from now.
Right.
We'll abbreviate it just for the show because that's a lot of words. Okay, and Courtney Ries, ta-da! And she is the vice president of destination branding and strategy for Meet Minneapolis. Did I get that right?
Indeed.
Yay! See, I'm pretty good at this, right?
Done it a time or two.
Welcome to the Downright Upright Show.
Thank you.
To the both of you. You're amazing. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
Yes.
I hope everyone's doing well. I hope you have some wonderful events to attend for Pride this year. And
we certainly do.
We'll talk about that later. But as you know, customarily, I like to ask my guests a little bit about their backgrounds, like their beginnings, where they were born, raised, educated, whatever you want to talk about, and maybe an incident here and there or a little tidbit you want to share with the audience. So maybe we'll start with Ga today. How's that?
Sure. So I am a proud Hmong American, and I was born at the end of the Vietnam War, actually on a CI military base in Laos, where my father was an officer working for the CIA-funded Hmong army that helped the Americans during the Vietnam War. And so came to the United States when I was 5, and I think the most important thing that kind of led me down to the path of equity, diversity, inclusion, and access is being in a refugee camp and really noticing the power dynamic. So we're in a UN refugee camp, and I noticed that the people that were in charge of the camp were white, and the people that were receiving help, and we needed the help, but that we were not white. And so it just that whole concept of who held power and how power is given and taken, sometimes by force, because I just came from a war-torn country. And then after coming to the United States, that got me really interested in equity work and how there are certain communities for historical reasons in the United States that don't have power, and they never have power, and that there are movements for them to have power. And you think about power, that can mean equity, that can mean resource. Power means different things. That also can mean having a voice. And growing up, there was a woman, and she just passed away a few months ago, that was very close to my parents. And now I understand that she probably was a transgender man. But she was very ostracized, by the Hmong community. And my parents were one of the only people that really accepted her identity. I'm not quite sure how she identified, because I think she was in an evolution her whole life to really understand herself. She is my parents' age, so she's older than my parents, and so I would see her come to our house kind of in the dark of the night, and she would come in and she would lament to my mom, my dad too, but mostly my mom, because they were closer, about how there was no space for her in our family. She's a distant a distant aunt, and she, unlike other Hmong women, she would wear what we would call like French clothes, because the French were our colonizers. So if you did not dress the Hmong tradition, you're dressing French.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
she would wear French clothes, and which was slacks, and she had really short hair, um and I was, just very curious about who she was, her identity. And I would ask my mom, and mom's like, just don't talk about her to other people, because I think my parents didn't want repercussions, and
Yeah, she
yeah.
wanted her to be in a safe space.
Correct. And then she also
Yeah.
wanted her to be in a safe space. So
Yeah, absolutely.
those two things together, just being around, the teachings of my parents, but being around people who always didn't fit into a box. And then this whole idea of like communities, historical underrepresented communities without power, really pushed me into this space of EDIA work, and being a champion for communities like that I belong to.
Well, you know
Yeah.
what? Thank you so much. This story was beautiful. The trans community is getting a lot of backlash, really. I mean, it reminds me when I was coming out, as a gay man, back in the day, being gay was like the big, the community that everybody bashed, especially when AIDS came around. They said, oh,
Yes.
this, the spreading AIDS, it's God's punishment and all this nonsense. And even today now, with Cobalt Sovereign, who was a trans girl in a high school in Minnetonka, she was attacked in the bathroom just for being who she is,
Yeah.
and knocked all her teeth out, dislocated her jaw. This is what's going on. So we have to look at people's humanity. That's what the show is about, love.
Yeah.
Anyway, Courtney,
You're going to make me try and transition from that?
No, you had to follow God. Sorry.
Courtney can hold her own. Yeah.
So, my background, so my job, I work for the, Meet Minneapolis is the tourism board. Our job is to convince people to come to Minneapolis and help invest and grow in all of our shared economic prosperity through the power of travel and tourism. So for me, I actually worked all over I grew up all over the Midwest. Really started my kind of transformation as being an ally through my mother. And when in the early 90s, we attended a church in Eagan, and the piano player was gay, and he subsequently passed of AIDS. But the Catholic community really rallied around him and led a lot of AIDS walks and a lot of part of the community. And so that was really a part of my growing up. And I went to school in Chicago and got a job out in Portland, Oregon. So was out in Portland for a number of years working in travel and tourism and hospitality, where I actually oversaw all of the marketing for our LGBT community. And much like Minneapolis, Portland's community is really diverse in that there's not necessarily like, oh, tell me where the neighborhood is. It's in every neighborhood, and there's people in every neighborhood. So when I moved back to Minneapolis just about 8 years ago, it was really wonderful to come back to a community that's felt so accepting and welcoming. And we've been very fortunate to be able to continue to be what I think is on the right side of history when it comes to our LGBTQ access and laws and protection. And so as a tourism board, you might say, well, why are you in marketing, or why are you in communications talking about that? It's like, well, because particularly for LGBTQ plus travelers, before they go anywhere, it's so important to know, am I safe there? Am I welcome there? So all of our tools and channels, including just some of the brass tacks of what are the laws, right? We know all the communication and all the hype around the, drag bills and don't say gay bills and things like that, for us to be able to say that's not going very far in Minnesota, and Minneapolis stands there to protect health access and all the things that come along with it.
Well, thank you for that. And I just want to piggyback on that a little bit about my own experience, talking about safe spaces, and being that, Minneapolis, St. Paul is a very safe space for us. When we want to travel as gay people and trans people in any part of the LGBTQ plus community, we have to go on a website. I'm sure you know about this, to find out if we're going to get killed if we get there. I'm not even kidding you. There's some countries that if you walk hand in hand, you will be jailed.
Yep.
You will be attacked. I don't want to name them because that would be,
naming Voldemort, as it were.
Yes. So I just want you to, I want to thank you for that. And we know that Minneapolis, St. Paul is a safe space. And that's why I live here. You know, I would not live in a state that didn't accept my husband or me or any of my friends.
Yeah.
So thank you to Meet Minneapolis. You guys are, they are the bomb, everyone. Okay, so now I have another question. I think maybe God would be good for this question. So let's try that. How did you become involved and concerned about DEI? And I'm happy to see that Meet Minneapolis wants to reflect its local community by recruiting and retaining a diverse staff. So that's amazing. So can you give us a short, brief answer for that one?
Sure. I think I mentioned the reasons why I got involved as a champion and decided to make EDIA my profession. But with both regards to Meet Minneapolis, um, I think we just have a philosophy of inclusion. And if you look at our values, we have values around inclusion and passion and collaboration and other values. And in order to really live those values, we have to have a diverse workforce that represents this community. And sometimes it's just having one, though that's not what we want, but sometimes it's just having one person at the table that has a different viewpoint that leads to greater creativity, but also saves our ass. I mean, I often think about some of the public relations disasters that we see in the Twin Cities. Even I won't name any names because I'm not here to to criticize any organization, but I think if they just had one person of color or one LGBTQ person, they would have not made those decisions.
Yes. And the fact that you recruit people of diverse backgrounds in your organization. Yay. I love it. And this question's for Courtney, because I forgot to ask this question. Silly me. I'm having a senior moment. So what is Meet Minneapolis? What's the mission?
So Meet Minneapolis' mission, I put it in there anyway. I figured it would probably be good as a setup. We work across the tourism and hospitality spectrum. So it's everything from recruiting, conventions, events, sporting events, working in partnership and concert with a number of different organizations across the community to showing Minneapolis in communications in PR right around the world, to helping to create advertising campaigns to remind people that Minneapolis is an awesome city that they should come and visit. But at the end of the day, the net goal is to get people to come to Minneapolis, invest in our community through their tourism dollars, and help bring livelihoods to more than 30,000 jobs within Minneapolis.
Yeah. So I'm going to throw this question into the air like a ball, and whoever catches it can just answer it.
I'm not very good at hand-eye coordination, but I'll do my best.
Yes, because it's a pretty easy question. Being that you guys work for a nonprofit that attempts to promote Minnesota as welcoming for everyone, what are some of the obstacles you face, if any? And do you ever encounter any pushback because your organization is so inclusive? So who wants to pick up the ball there?
I can answer. I think a dimension of that is that I think there are so many diverse communities in Minneapolis and in Minnesota overall. We have one of the largest urban Indian communities. We have the largest Hmong community. We have the largest Somali and East African community, and it's we only have so many resources.
Ethiopian.
Yes. And so we cannot tell everybody's story. We cannot highlight all the wonderful neighborhoods. And so I think one of the challenges I think for Meet Minneapolis is just having to make those tough decisions on like what to highlight, which neighborhood, which communities, which cultural events. We want to do everything, but there's just the resource and the time isn't there. So that's one of the challenges, that I've been with Meet Minneapolis for 2 years that I've noticed.
Yeah, because you were mentioning before about neighborhoods, right?
Right.
She was talking about neighborhoods. Now I'm going to talk about neighborhoods.
Yep.
As a gay man, when I go to a city, I want to know if it's welcoming.
Right.
Because the United States is not equal in every state, as you know. I mean, in Florida, you can't even say you're gay in a classroom.
Yeah.
The teacher has to hide the picture of their spouse. I mean, I'm serious. I mean, it's ridiculous. But Do you ever get those kind of questions where is there a neighborhood
Yeah,
in
absolutely. I think because people are going with what they know, right? And I think particularly if you're talking about international travelers, right, who may be coming from a community where it's always like, oh, it's these 3 city blocks or whatever the case may be. The reality is when anybody travels, they want to experience the things that resonate with them. So to assume that somebody is gay and they only want to go to these 3 city blocks
Makes sense, yeah.
is really short-sighted. At the same time, you might say, you know what, if I do want to go to a club, I want to go to one that I know that's going to be more welcoming and is more um I don't have to think, right? I don't have to think about it. I don't have to add more mental strain to say, is this a place where I'm going to feel comfortable when I walk in the door?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, again, another question that it's a jump ball. So whoever wants to take it, I mean, because you guys are just, amazing, great people. Um, so do you ever have selling points, specific selling points when people call? I guess they call um, and want to, book, a wedding or some sort of event in Minneapolis, St. Paul. What are some of the positives, I guess is a good word, that you use to promote the cities, plural?
So are you talking more about the assets and attributes of like, hey, this is why I come to Minneapolis, or more, this is why I come and book maybe a same-sex marriage in Minneapolis?
All the
All
above.
the above.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I think, again, back to the point of people generally like some similar things, right? I want a beautiful venue, and we have plenty of those in town. I want to be able to have some amazing food, right? And maybe I don't want that food to be like, well, everybody else's food. And again, with our incredible diverse array of restaurants and caterers, we certainly have that. And then it's, do I have a place for people to stay? And Minneapolis has hotel properties that are
Beautiful
in
hotels. Beautiful.
every niche and every sort of appeal and every vibe that you're going for. So we really have that full package. And the reality is most of it is within walkable. So you could get married in church, or you could get married in a venue, and then you could walk to wherever your next location is, and then your guests could walk home to their hotel, as it were. So there's kind of some nice appeal as it relates to all those things. On the legalities side of things, or kind of the general selling points of information, one of the things that we've been really clear about is we realized that through search and through all of the public kind of commentary with the news that we really needed more just the facts, ma'am, information for people. Like, can I do this? Or is this protected? Can I go here? What's Minneapolis's history? Right? Is this something that Minneapolis has just started to say that it's a gay friendly city in the last 10 years because it seemed like it was cool or that there was money to be made there? No, that's the wonderful thing for us is that it's really part of the DNA of the city, and we've got a long history. And again, always there's room to grow and places to improve, but there is a good sense of history that gives people a sense of comfort too when they're looking particularly for something a high profile event like a wedding. You
Yeah.
really want it to go off without a hitch.
Yeah, and I have a great selling point for you. Just throwing it out there. If you ever get a call about LGBT, uh, uh, you know, venues or
Hmm.
etc., just say Minnesota was the first state to vote for marriage equality by vote, by the
Yes.
people's vote,
Yes.
Yeah.
not a
Yes.
Supreme Court,
Yes.
or not.
Yep.
It was the people. The people
Mhm.
here said everybody is
Mhm.
human, everybody's equal in our state. And
Mhm.
thank you, Minnesota. That's why Moa lives here,
Mhm.
because I would not live anywhere
Hmm.
where I couldn't even be, walk with my husband
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
feel safe. You know, but we only have a minute. But you know what I'm going to do? This is a good time to take a commercial break, because I'll
Mhm.
take the extra minute in the next segment to elaborate on other issues I would like to ask you guys about. So my name is Philippa Anthony. This is the Downright Upright Show here on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota. To help the situation, to keep the world together. We got to stick together. the rights I seek. Oh, yes. Thank you. Welcome back to the Downright Upright Show. I am Philip Anthony, and I'm here with my two guests, and they represent Meet Minneapolis, and they are fantastic. And that song, I remember the Village People when I came out in the 70s with the first out group, and they sang about gay issues. You know, I am what I am, what I am, I'll be for the rights I seek. I mean, come on, you know. I mean, you didn't hear that on the radio back in the 70s, you know. Yeah. And as an old senior gay man, you know, I want to say that we paved the way for all the LGBTQ community today, because without we took the you know, the bruises, the rocks, the stones, the punches, and now we want to keep that fight going. Don't become complacent, right, guys? Yep. Let's just keep this going, keep the ball rolling, and make sure everybody's equal and everybody feels comfortable in there in a safe space. Anyway, so I have a question for Courtney.
All right.
Miss Courtney. I love Courtney. Don't you love Courtney?
We love her.
Such an 80s name.
Oh my. She's got such a beautiful light. She really does. I love her.
Thank you.
Can you talk about the Come See What All the Fuss Is About campaign? And to piggyback on that, what are some summer attractions travelers can look forward to when considering to visit Minneapolis for the general community?
Awesome. So you may recall that Minneapolis has been in the news, or was in the news a lot with the murder of George Floyd and the social unrest and lots of conversations around public safety. And there was a lot of folks that hadn't been to Minneapolis in a very long time. And so there were no other firsthand accounts for people to kind of say, I've been to Minneapolis, I've had a wonderful time there. You know, it was closed because of COVID, and we had all these compounding factors. So our tourism space and the workers in the tourism space were really struggling. There weren't the people coming to the hotels or staying overnight or booking those large events in the same ways that they were before. So about a year ago, we had launched a campaign called See What All the Fuss Is About. And it was our acknowledgement that maybe not everything that people had heard about Minneapolis was positive. And we use the word fuss because at the end of the day, it's a bit of an old school word. And it's a word that makes you kind of think a little bit more about it. And what we really wanted was for people to take a look at the advertising, see it, and say, you know what, I get it. There's been a lot of conversation about Minneapolis, but I'm really excited to go back and to check it out. So we're on our third wave of that campaign, which is this spring, focused mostly on people that are within the drive market of Minneapolis, because most cities, most of the visitors are coming from folks who are driving in a car, because it's more likely that they'll come multiple times a year than, say, that once a year vacation to wherever it is that you want to go that year. So for us, it's really that hype up in the spring to help kind of drive some folks into town, reminding them of all the wonderful things that are happening. Really amazing with the Timberwolves and the bring your ass comment and everything else that has come out of all of that play. Because that's really what, at the end of the day, we're trying to do. We're trying to get people to say, you know what, I want to go to Minneapolis. I want to check out all the things that are going on, and I should do that soon. I want to do that now. So for us, and this summer, obviously, we have Pride coming up, which is our largest festival in Minneapolis every year, with about 400,000 people across all of the events.
I just went to the day before, sorry, to Golden
to
Valley.
Golden Valley's Pride.
Were you guys there?
No, but I had seen some sides when I was out in Golden Valley the other week, and it made me really happy.
Oh my goodness, it's such a beautiful space, and everybody was just having such fun. Yeah, I did a live show there.
Awesome.
On the stage.
Awesome.
And Patrick was there, right, Patrick? Yeah, he's nodding. And it was fun. We had a great time. And what you said about George Floyd, I want to touch on that, because that's an important point. I went to the ground zero where George Floyd was murdered, and being that I'm a cis Caucasian man, I was so welcomed by the African American community there. Thank you for coming here. And it was just like a love fest. Everybody was together. So this idea, that you know what I'm going to say, that oh no, the black people are they hate us, and the white people, they don't like. No, that's not going on in Minneapolis, St. Paul. We have such a diverse, cohesive community. That's what I've noticed. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you think I'm crazy, but that's what do you think?
I think that in order to have systemic change, any underrepresented communities need allies. Allyship,
Bingo.
is the reason why we change laws. Because certainly in terms of like the marriage amendment here in Minnesota. I mean, we needed allies to get that amendment passed. And so I totally agree with you. And when I think about any kind of movement here in the United States or abroad, it was started with students from that particular community, but it was actually the allies. When you think about like for the freedom riders, young college students who got on buses to come down south, to protest, and there were all sorts of people that are freedom riders, Jewish people, white people, all sorts. So allyship is really important.
Yeah, I want to thank you both for being allies.
Oh, thank you.
Because you're not in the LGBTQ community, you're allies, right? Am I correct? Maybe I'm assuming. I don't know, but
I'm actually part of the community.
Oh, you are?
Yes.
Oh, so we didn't even see what I mean? How dumb I am sometimes. She's part of the community. Thank you for admitting that. Because some people are, they're being on air. It sometimes can be intimidating for some people, and I have friends that are not out for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for coming out on this show. And thank you. Oh, you're an ally.
I am an ally. Yeah.
Okay, we got that straight. Okay, but don't hate me. I hope you don't hate me.
No, not at all.
Okay, good. I should have done my homework better on this. But so there's also an LGBT history and self-guided tour. I read about that on your website, which I found fascinating. That you have a tour that's geared towards the LGBTQ community. Who wants to pick that ball up and run with it?
I can run with that one. So
Yeah.
again, we know that people have a mix of things that they're looking for. And oftentimes there is that nod to history, as you were talking about, right? Being an
Right.
elder statesman and fighting for the rights. And people
Yeah.
want to see and remember and acknowledge and spend some time with their own memories or their own experiences or connect to the city in a different way. And this is just one pathway for people to be able to do that. So on Minneapolis.org, we have a wide variety of resources that we share related to our community. And the other thing too is that we are not the end all be all of the information in the city. One of our biggest goals is actually to get people to our website, have them see and get interested in other things, and then send them off to other resources across the community so that they can learn more, right? So we want people to be able to kind of choose your own adventure where we're at the top giving you ideas and inspiration. And then all of our amazing organizations and restaurants and partners across the cities are able to then say, okay, now let me give you that deep dive of that information that you're looking for.
I have a stupid question.
Stupid questions. There are no stupid questions.
Is this a bus tour or walking tour?
So this one's just a walking. This is just a walking tour, and so some of them are also do require a little bit of transportation, right? So we actually have a Prince tour as well, right? Where we identify different sites and based on the geographic location, some of them are spread a little bit further out. So
I must admit, though, you guys, I have never been to the Prince Museum yet.
You've never been down to Paisley Park?
Paisley Park.
You gotta go on down.
Somebody,
You
you
gotta
guys
go
want
down.
you guys want to take me?
It's a beautiful,
Let's
amazing
do
story.
it.
Want to do a day trip?
Day trip down to Paisley Park.
Are you guys off? You guys are so busy, though. I'm sure you don't even have a moment to yourselves, do you?
We can make time. I feel like we're like the MTV generation, and because Prince was known for his music videos, so when you go into Paisley Park, you feel like you're in his music video. You feel like the doves are flying, or
Really?
or the clouds are out, and you're
Okay.
you're dancing. It's it's a celebration not only of Prince but also the Minneapolis music, the Minneapolis music scene, and I think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, I have to do it. And you know what I admire about Prince? I'm going off on a tangerine here, but Prince was so his authentic self. He took a lot of questions about being part of the LGBT community because he was very androgynous, right? You remember that?
Yep.
And he could give a rat's beep because he just was himself. I think that's amazing. I don't understand that, why people just can't accept people who just want to be themselves, whether they want to wear, red hair, or they want to, wear makeup and, or whatever they want to do to express themselves. I think that should be part of living in America. As this is a free country. Last time I checked, but I mean, right?
Right.
I mean, so Prince rest in peace. We love you.
Yeah.
And these two beautiful people are going to take me one day to Paisley Park because I want to see it.
Yes.
It's
Is
worth
it-
seeing.
Yeah.
It's worth seeing. Every
Yeah.
Minnesotan should see it.
Do you get a lot of people calling about that? to come
Absolutely. Yeah,
the
absolutely.
tour there?
Yep. So it's definitely something book in advance. So that's one of the things actually you're asking about summer events. So this year we have gymnastics, Pride, Prince Celebration. All of these events are really coming together at the end of the month, along with some large concerts. And of course, you've got Lynx games and all these other things that are all going on at the same time. It's peak Minnesota summer, and we're all here for it.
Yeah. So go to Minnesota, Minnesota.org.
Well, you can go
Minneapolis.
check out our colleagues at the state with Explore Minnesota as well. Absolutely. But Minneapolis.org.
I got it wrong. Yeah. Well, I love Minnesota and I love Minneapolis.
So do we.
So
we.
they're like melded together in my brain
Yes.
as one.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
I mean, the state is beautiful. We have a wonderful governor who embraces my community.
Mhm.
We actually have, did you know this? Our lieutenant governor is Native American.
Yes.
I think she's the first ever
Yes.
Native American lieutenant governor of any state.
Yes. Yes.
OMG. Isn't it? See, that's what diversity is about, man. Giving
Mhm.
everybody a chance.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
it's like what you said too, and she's her authentic self, and if you see her about, she's always wearing some sort of regalia, something that demonstrates, her culture, her cultural heritage, and that's what we do at Minneapolis. So I'm in charge of professional development around equity, diversity, and inclusion, and my goal is to inspire our staff with new narratives and absent narratives about various cultures that that created Minneapolis. Two narratives about Indigenous people being the first people of this land and being the caretakers, and they still are the caretakers of our land and waterways, or the new narratives about the Hmong community, or the African American community. And so, I feel like you have a friend in us, because we have the same values around telling authentic narratives.
Yeah, we're a rich community here in Minnesota and Minneapolis and St. Paul.
Mhm.
By the way, it's Meet Minneapolis, but you do include St. Paul.
We
I
have
hope. Yeah.
we are charged with promoting Minneapolis. We work very closely with our colleagues at Visit St. Paul, who also
Is
have
there a Meet
fabulous.
St. Paul?
It's a Visit St. Paul. So there's a
Really?
wonderful.
There's a different one. Well,
there's
you got to
wonderful-
connect me with them.
I'd be
then.
happy to.
I would love to, because I live in the suburb of St. Paul, so I don't want to leave them out, because they're wonderful.
They also have fabulous resources and lots of information.
Yes. Okay. If you're hearing me, I would love you on my show, and Courtney's going to help me out.
I can help you out for sure.
Okay. So, Meet Minneapolis will take part in Twin Cities Pride activities this month long with my incredible radio station, AM 950. We're going to be at Pride this month,
Yes.
along
Wonderful.
with Meet Minneapolis.
Yes.
Correct.
Yay. And we're going to visit each other, and
Yes.
we're going to give hugs, and we're going to give, it was so cute. Last year they had a moms for hugs or something. Did you see that?
Free hugs.
Free hugs.
Yeah.
Yes. I love it.
Yeah.
It's just love. It's just full of love. Pride is amazing. It really is. It's incredible. So, other than Pride, are there any other upcoming activities you guys are going to promote for LGBT people?
Well,
Other than the tour, the walking tour.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. And again, lots of resources and a lot of different opportunities to explore different businesses, as well as itineraries if you're looking to help support.
There are a lot of LGBT owned businesses.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't even bring that up.
So there's a lot, again, a lot at Minneapolis.org for people that are kind of looking for that opportunity to explore a little bit more. But we actually have one large convention that is coming to the Minneapolis Convention Center and surrounding this year, which is Gala Choruses, which is a LGBTQ group. So very excited to have them come.
What's it called again?
Gala Choruses.
Gala?
GALA. And they're coming in July.
Choruses.
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 Like choral music.
Gotcha.
So,
I thought you said courses.
yeah.
I thought we're going to sit in a classroom and learn.
We're all going to sit and learn. No. So again, a really amazing, incredible community that brings a lot of joy, because obviously they're bringing music with them and having performances around the city. So kind of a wonderful opportunity to have a LGBTQ plus group that will be in town just next month.
Is the Gay Men's Chorus one of those group?
They have a
Mhm.
variety of different ones and different kind of some smaller groups and some larger ones as well that are participating. It depends on
Wow.
who's able to come and sing, and they have all their different venues throughout the city.
You
So it's a
see,
performance one.
folks, Meet Minneapolis is the place to go to learn about how to visit this city and be welcomed.
Absolutely.
This is the place, man. This is the place. Love it. I love you guys. That's why I sought you out. I was like, I got to meet these people. I really do. And I spoke to someone online. Your communications, liaison, I guess is the term, and they were amazing and helped me communicate with the both of you. And yeah, thank you for what you do. Really, it's great work. So I have another question. I have a lot of questions. We have 4 minutes for this segment, so I can ask this one. Other than Twin Cities Pride and other events, other cultural events, so for the Hmong community or for the Ethiopian community or are there any other cultural events? Because I don't want to, leave that out.
There are certainly other cultural events happening in the city of Minneapolis. During Ramadan, after Ramadan, there, is the Eid, um, uh, spiritual, heritage recognition celebration, and we have one of the largest gatherings actually at the Minneapolis Convention Center. I mean, thousands of people, and the Twin Cities holds one of the largest Hmong New Year celebration also. So, and
Really?
yeah, really, and
Nice.
really, and one of the largest Hmong, I guess, scholarly intellectual gathering is going to be happening this next year here in Minneapolis. So, Minneapolis has always been, I think, considered a safe space for various cultural communities. And I know we talked about the choral music, but I also wanted to highlight that last year, Minneapolis hosted the Gay World Softball Championship too. So
We did?
yeah. So sports is
Where was I? Where hearing about this?
yeah, it was last summer. So
Wow.
the Twin Cities have, as you know, because you mentioned this, always been very welcoming for various underrepresented communities, including the LGBTQ plus, but other immigrant communities also.
Yeah.
We also have support there are 7 different cultural districts within Minneapolis. And so we have some robust information that were written by local writers highlighting the cultural districts within Minneapolis. And that also does include a number of upcoming and annual events that happen and take place every year. So we know that summer is peak festival season, right? It's when everybody's like, let's get outdoors, let's celebrate and explore. So again, if you search Minneapolis cultural districts, you'll be able to find a robust list of things that are coming up.
That's a good point when you mentioned summer, because we're in summer now, obviously. But what if people want to book something in the winter? We have what's the name of that festival?
The Great Northern.
There's another one though. It's in the city of Minneapolis where they're in the street and they have
Parade you're talking
it's
about?
kind of like a parade. It's kind of like the summer solstice.
Are you thinking about Northern Spark?
Uh,
Which might have gone, which
could be. I'll try to remember the name.
All right.
But it's got a cool name. But I've been to that.
Mhm.
So we have winter events as well, right?
Absolutely.
Or you think about the
absolutely.
Winter Carnival?
I can't think of
Okay.
it. I don't think that's the name.
Okay.
Don't worry, I'm sure that there's some listeners that
Yes.
are all like
Maybe
slamming on their
Patrick
like
knows what I'm
wheels, being
talking
like,
about. I don't. We'll throw.
Well, the Great Northern, I will say, is a wonderful festival that pulls together a variety of events throughout the Twin Cities and has a number of amazing, incredible events that cross over to everything from conversations on climate change to highlighting like basically outdoor winter celebrations to large scale art projections. And at the same time, you also have the Luminary Lopit that happens with taking place with all of the luminaries in the Lopit Festival. You have the Winter Carnival in St. Paul, and then you also have the Pond Hockey Championships. So,
and also don't forget the Halloween thing at the zoo. I love that.
oh, the pumpkins at the zoo
The
are
pumpkins at the
wonderful.
zoo are cool. Anyway, so we're going to take a break. And we have one more segment. And this is the Downright Upright Show. My name is Philip Anthony. And just hold on for a couple of seconds. We'll be right back. back to the Downright Upright Show. My name is Philip Anthony. I'm here with my two guests from Meet Minneapolis, Courtney and Ga. And they're amazing, incredible, and fantabulous. And so Courtney's going to say something to the audience.
We know that we don't want to be thinking about winter when it's June, but winter is always coming in Minnesota. And
we remembered the name.
We figured out what it was that we were talking about for the winter. And it's the amazing, incredible event of Holidazzle.
Yeah.
Holidazzle Festival.
Okay. Aquatennial is another one, but that's summer.
So you can come and they'll have incredible display of Minneapolis Civic Celebration at the end of July for Aquatennial. Absolutely.
What do they do with Holidazzle again? What's offered there?
So they generally have makers so that you can explore and you can shop for your holiday gifts. There's also an opportunity. Sometimes they have skating. They've also had opportunities for, of course, warm winter like food and beverage, a celebration of all of the holiday seasons with arts and art development. So again, an opportunity to get outside and get excited in December and take a little bit of that holiday magic. And of course, that's when downtown has all of its twinkle lights, which can't be missed.
Oh, see, Courtney, I knew I wasn't going crazy. I knew there was something I went to in the winter.
Yes.
I thought it was the other one, Aquatennial, but that's in July. And the one, Holidazzle, is in what month?
December.
In December. Yeah. And so you can buy all your presents for Christmas there or Hanukkah or whatever, whatever.
Or for yourself.
Or just spend money on yourself. You're worth it. Everybody's worth it.
Absolutely.
Right, Ka?
Yeah, right.
Okay. So I have another great question for you guys. Because of the popularity of RuPaul's Drag Race, Sashay You Stay, there are many members of the LGBT community and its allies that enjoy drag shows. I'm sure you all enjoy.
Absolutely.
I love them.
Absolutely.
Yes, of course.
What are some of the best places to go see drag shows and other related performances in that genre in the Twin Cities?
Yeah, so obviously around Pride, you'll see a number of drag shows that are in the market. But year round, you can find amazing performances at Roxy's. You can also find some shows at Lush. Union Rooftop has had brunches and drag brunches. So we are really fortunate that there's a variety of times and days of the week that we do have drag shows in Minneapolis. Because again, when you're on vacation or if you're just looking for an excuse to get together with a bunch of people, food and drink and amazing performers is always a good bet.
Yeah. Roxy's now, I'm sure the audience knows what I'm going to say about Roxy's. I do a commercial for them on AM 950. We talk about the red shoe, the red stiletto.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That, because a lot of people, it's not, and I say, it's not a shoe store, and it's fun. I was there. They have a beautiful terrace. They dancing. They have a bar.
Yes.
It's just amazing. Have you ever been there, Ga, to Roxy's?
Actually, I haven't.
Well, that's another place we
so
have
we'll
to go.
We'll go to Paisley Park and we'll have some time at Roxy's.
Yeah.
We have to go to Paisley Park.
Yes.
Roxy's, Holidazzle.
Holidazzle. We
We
can
have to
do it
go.
all. We can do it all.
Yeah,
We're gonna have our own little party.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So let's go back. Of course, we have to go back since it's Pride Month. To Pride. Now, you guys we have a booth there, AM 950. So come visit. If you're there at Pride, please come visit us. You guys have a Pride booth as well. So what's going on in your Pride booth? Maybe God could pick that up.
Yeah, so it's just an honor for us to have a booth of Pride. So what our aim is to be, high level concierge, and so to make sure that, whether you're coming from Minnetonka or or San Francisco or New York, that what the city has to offer. So if you're interested in going shopping, then we could tell you the LGBTQ plus owned businesses, or if you're interested in going to a really great bar, we can send you that way too. So that's what's going to be happening at the booth is we're going to be wayfinders and concierge. So if folks have any questions about Minneapolis, we can answer it. We're also going to be giving away lots of cool stuff. So we got some really great
You
keychains.
are.
Oh yeah, and
You have to spin a wheel? Is that what you have?
no,
Oh,
no,
you don't have
there's
that.
no entry to getting anything. We just want you to come. And but one of the items I think that people would really like, and I'm sorry that we didn't bring it today, is actually a fan. So we
Oh,
created
like this?
like that, yeah, because we
You can
want
hold this if you want.
like a fan, because we want people to be cool, to stay cool. We know how hot it can get out there as you're walking around Loring Park in the vicinity. So yeah, just come by. We're also really eco-friendly, and so we have banners that with QR codes that could take you directly to our website, where you can where all of the restaurants are listed, where you can find out more about our cultural district neighborhoods that Courtney talked about. And so yeah, please stop by. We're going to be with the other nonprofits, and so if we're in the nonprofit area, that's on the opposite side of I guess from the Walker, right, at Loring Park. And I don't remember our booth's number. I really wish I did, but
I don't know
yeah.
mine, actually. I have no idea.
Yeah, come by and tell us that Philip sent you, and we'll get you more swag.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And we also have a booth. And we give away candy, and we have all of our all the shows that are represented on AM 950. So we have shows about everything. I mean, you guys, this station is amazing. So we have the LGBT shows, the 4 LGBT shows. We have swag, representing those shows. We have shows about food. We have shows about Native American issues. We even have shows about Bigfoot and the and horror and my friend Greg's show. So yeah, come down to the booth and visit us, and go to the Meet Minneapolis booth as well and say hello. Say that Philip Anthony sent you. Anyway, so we have 3 minutes left to this show. I could wish that we had a 3-hour show. I really do. But see, now Ga has something that you don't know about Ga, that she is a spoken word artist and poet. Amazing.
I am.
Isn't that incredible? So will you take us out with one of your poems or spoken word that would be an inspiration for us to go through this month?
Okay, I will. Philip, what's your favorite street in the city of Minneapolis?
Oh my goodness, that's a good question. In Minneapolis, I would probably say Hennepin.
Hennepin. Okay, all right.
Right? Would you say Hennepin?
It's a good one.
Okay,
it's a good one.
All right. So there are actually a few Hmong words that I'm just going to explain really quickly that I reference in the spoken word piece. So one is Shi, and Shi is the first Hmong shaman. And so in order to be a shaman or to transform yourself, you have to connect with Shi. And then the other is Kutia, which is like a poem, a traditional poem. And I think that's it. Okay, so I'll start. Okay, it's called Extraordinary Hmong. Okay. I am the extraordinary Hmong, rice paddy eyes, mouth full open, filled with opium poppy seed. My hair long black like the Mississippi Mekong River, flowing down my back, sinking like silver, clapping with the kutia of my ancestors. Driving down Hennepin Avenue, my future coming through the rear view, Shi riding steady on his steed. I'm not takeout. I don't have an ancient secret. Pillsbury people do not ask me for the Dalai Lama's numbers. I am the extraordinary Hmong.
Patrick, wasn't that incredible? Patrick's nodding. Amazing.
Thank you.
Incredible.
It's been a long time.
Fantabulous. Because, all of us in this community in Minneapolis, St. Paul, we all are represented here and are safe. And that's why Meet Minneapolis is a thing, because we want people to go to Meet Minneapolis and know where everything is, where their cultural connections can be made, and connect with people or foods or shows or festivals that pertain to their culture, maybe,
Absolutely.
And anyway, so I have 49 seconds. I just want to thank you both for coming to the Downright Upright show today. I want to give information, though, to give So you can go online. It's called Minneapolis.org. That's very simple to remember, isn't it? So go to Minneapolis.org and you can contact either of my two friends here. Thank you, Ga.
I'm so glad to be here.
Thank you, Courtney.
Thank you.
And my name's Philip Anthony. And again, we always like to thank you for joining us, and come listen to the Downright Upper Show every Saturday at 5 p.m. And we're going to wave and kiss you goodbye. Bye.